I need to say something that most people won't say to you, not because they don't see it, but because they don't know how. You're not the same woman you were. You have grown. You have healed things that took everything you had. You have learned lessons that cost you years of your life, and you know better now. I know you do. So why are you still choosing it? Still in that situation, still giving to that person, still showing up for something that has never once shown up for you the same way. You already know this, and yet here you are. And I'm not saying this to shame you. I'm saying it because I have been exactly where you are, and nobody was able to say it to me either, because I wasn't able to hear it, and I probably wouldn't have listened. And that's the hardest moment, is not when it's happening. The hardest moment is afterwards, when the house is quiet, when everyone else is fine, when you are alone with yourself and you hear it. I knew. And I felt it before it even started. Something in me said no, and I did it anyway. And you're not sitting there because you're foolish. You're sat there because you saw it coming and you walked toward it anyway. And that space, the space between what you know and what you do, that is the loneliest place a woman can live, because you can't explain it to the people who love you. You can barely explain it to yourself. And what makes it harder is who you are. You are not someone who falls apart easily. You have held things together that should have caused you to collapse. You have survived things that most people will never have to face. You've rebuilt yourself quietly without applause more times than anyone knows. So this does not make sense. How can you be that strong in every other area of your life and keep coming back to it? And I need you to hear me before you answer that question yourself. You're not weak. You're not broken. You are not someone who doesn't know better. You are a woman whose body is responding to something that goes so much deeper than a decision. And everyone has an answer for you. Know your worth, choose yourself. You just have to decide. And you smile and you nod, and inside you are thinking, if it were that simple, don't you think I would have done it by now? Because knowing was never the problem. You have always known. The problem is that not knowing lives up here. And this lives somewhere your mind cannot reach. I sat in that silence. I have felt something coming and recognized it and walked straight toward it anyway. Not because I was confused, because something in me knew that feeling. And even though that feeling had hurt me before, it felt like mine. It felt like something I understood. And I didn't know then what I know now, that I wasn't choosing the situation. I was choosing the familiar, because the familiar was the closest thing I had to feeling at home, even when home had never been safe throughout my entire life. Here is what is actually happening inside of you. When you grow up in instability, when love came wrapped in conditions, when connection required you to earn it, manage it, or brace for it, your nervous system does not just remember the pain. It memorizes the feeling of it, the way it entered a room, the way it sat in your chest, the way your body learned to organize itself around it. And now your body is not asking, is this good for me? It's asking, have I felt this before? And if the answer is yes, something in you settles, not because it's safe, but because it's known. And your nervous system will choose known over good every single time until something changes at that level. You're starting to hear this in more places now. Even doctors are beginning to say it. But what they are just starting to name, you have been living in for decades. And for women over 50 who have carried what we have carried, this is not about making better decisions. This is about what your body has been holding that no one has ever helped you put down. Sit with that no one has ever helped you put down. So you're not choosing what hurts you. You are choosing what your body learned to call home. And you have spent years blaming yourself for something that was never about your strength, never about your intelligence, never about your worth. It was always about what got written into you before you even knew you had a say. So this is why you can see the pattern and still repeat it. This is why the books helped but didn't change it. Why the therapy moved things but didn't finish it. Why the prayer and the journaling and the conversations at midnight with your best friend got you through but didn't get you out. Because you are not dealing with logic, you are dealing with an imprint. An imprint does not respond to understanding. God said it this way: renew your mind, not analyze it, not understand it, renew it. Because until what feels familiar actually becomes something different, what you reach for will not change, no matter how ready you are, no matter how much you know, no matter how badly you want it to be different. But when that renewal begins, and I need you to know that it can begin when your system starts to recognize something gentle as familiar, something safe as normal, something good is something you do not have to earn, the pull inside of you changes. You stop walking toward what drains you because it no longer feels like home. You stop shrinking yourself because you no longer need the familiarity of being small. You stop going back because what you have found inside yourself is finally enough to stay. And for the first time in longer than you can remember, what feels right and what is right are the same thing. So if you've been sitting here with me and you've been asking yourself that question, why do I keep choosing this? I want you to hear me, woman to woman. You are not going backwards. You are not weak. You are not someone who doesn't deserve better. You are a woman whose nervous system learned to survive inside of conditions that were never supposed to be yours. And you did the best you could with what you were given, but you were not given everything you needed. And that is exactly why you are still here. And this is the work, not just because you're seeing the pattern and not just seeing the pattern, changing what your body believes is allowed to have, changing what familiar feels like, changing what home means when you close your eyes and you go quiet. That is what the Inner Healing Journey method was built for, not because I studied this from the outside. It's because I lived here in this exact place and I found my way out, and I built something for every woman who is still inside it and doesn't know if there is a way through. Friend, there is. It's one path, one focus, one place built for exactly where you are. And if something in you just exhaled while you were watching this, that is not a coincidence. That is you finally hearing something that was made for you. So start here. The link is in my description, or you can go into the bio right here on YouTube. And if you know a woman who keeps going back to what hurts her and you love her and you don't know what to say, just send her this. You don't have to say a word. Just let her know that someone finally said it out loud. And to you, I would say subscribe if you want more of these conversations. God bless your healing, and I will see you in the next video.